Howdy Yooksters! Today we're going to be learning about the C blues scale, one of the most important things that anyone ever taught me on the guitar or the ukulele, and it is so much fun, and it is my sheer privilege to try and teach it to you today. In fact, I will teach it to you today. Let's move on. As well as learning how to play the blues scale in C, we're also going to be learning a new way of writing music that's only really used for ukuleles and guitars, and also bass guitars. This kind of music writing is called tab. It's the lines and the numbers that you can see at the bottom there. So it's actually a really efficient way for you to learn how to read. It's a simple way to learn to read music. It tells us where to put our fingers on which string and which fret. The only thing it doesn't tell us is how long to hold each note from. That's why we need to use our ear to listen to the song and to count so that we know when to play. Let's look in more detail. So let's look at this pattern of lines a little bit more closely. You'll see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4 lines, and if you're smart you'll know that we also have 4 strings on the ukulele. You can see them there. And we know that they're the G, C, E, A strings. And you can see from the names written down the side here that these lines also have the same name as the strings, which gives you a clue that each of these lines represents one string. So, we know what the lines mean now. What are these squiggles on here? Well, that's Mr. Stretton's terrible handwriting, and they're also numbers. Those numbers tell us those are the same as notes. So every time you see a number, that means you need to play something. The more numbers there are, the more notes you need to play. How do we read it? Do we start over here and go backwards? No, just like most things in English, we read from left to right. This would be our first note, second note, third note, fourth note, etc. So how many notes would there be in this scale altogether? Count them in your head. That's right, there would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 in total. The next thing we need to know is, what do these numbers mean? Well, we know that the lines refer to the strings. So if a number is written on a line, for instance, this 0 is written on this line. And this line is the C line, which is the same as the C string. So I'm just going to call it the C string now. So on the C string here, we've got a 0. Now the numbers tell you where to put your fingers, which fret. Remember, the frets are the little silver bars that go across the neck. And when we put our fingers down, we put our fingers just behind the fret. So in this case, we've got a 0. So that means we don't put any fingers down. Which string do we play? Well, we play the C string. So we would play an open C string, which is this one here, which is the same note that we start our C major scale on. How many times do we play it? Well, there's only one 0, so we would only play it once. If there was 4 zeros, we would play it 4 times. Reading from left to right, after we've played it once, we move on. And now we see a 3. So now we need to count up and put our third finger on the 3rd fret. So if we look on our ukulele, this is the 1st fret, 2nd fret, 3rd fret. So we would slide our finger just behind the 3rd fret there. And we would play it once. Coming back to the tab, we can see that as we move from left to right, we've now jumped up a line and we're on the E line, which is the same as the E string. And we've gone to the 1st fret. So we know this is the E string here, and the 1st fret is here. So we play the 1st fret, then it says to jump to the 2nd fret. Now remember, if it's the 2nd fret, we use our 2nd finger. Next is 3rd fret. Now if you look back at the tab, it says jump to the A string, the top line. Now when it says top line, that means it's the highest line. Okay, these make the highest notes. When you've got the ukulele in your hand, the A string will actually be the bottom of your ukulele. It'll be the one closest to the floor. But when I say top string, it means it's the highest one. It's the one that makes the highest notes. That's how you remember. And we need to jump onto the first string here, and then jump to the third string. And if we played all of those, then we would have played our C blues scale. I'll show you a little video in the next slide. So if this is making sense to you and you've got your ukulele out, play along and have a go of making those notes, putting your fingers down and playing one note of each, even if you do it really slowly. If you're still a little bit confused, on the next slide I'll show you a video of what it looks like on the ukulele. Okay, let's see a little video of what this would look like. Now obviously when I'm holding my ukulele, actually I've turned the neck around the other way. But you guys know which string is which now, so it should be easy enough for you to remember which way it goes. So let's start the video and I'll try and point to what we're playing, what I'm playing on the notes. Let's have a look at how this looks on the ukulele. So we know that we're going to start on the C string, which is this one. And we know that we're going to start by playing, and there's a 0 there. And the 0 means open. Or you might like to think of it as an O for open. And it's a 0, it means there's 0 fingers. You're putting no fingers on. Okay? So we're starting with the C, that's the first note. I'm going to play 4 of each. Actually no, that's going to confuse you. I'll just play 1. Okay? So there's my C. The next note that we're putting down, you'll see we're still on the C string because it's still on the same line, but I'm putting down the third finger now. So it will sound like this. Open, third finger, then it jumps up to the next string, the next line up. And on the next line up, which is the E string, it says to put your finger on the first fret. Then there's a number 2, which means second fret. Number 3, which means third fret. And then it jumps up to the top line, which is the A string. And it says to put your finger on the first fret. And then the third fret. So if I was to play that a little bit faster from the start, it would sound like this. Have a try now by yourself and take your time, play it through smoothly and evenly, try and get your fingers used to what you're doing, but also get your eyes used to reading the music and reading the notes from here. Okay, let's have a little look now at 2 lines of tab. The first line is exactly what you just played. The second line is starting at the top and going all the way back down the scale. And you can see that it starts on the third finger on the A string, which is the same note that your C major scale finishes on, the high C. So pause the video now and have a go of playing all the way through, nice and slowly, from the bottom to the top and all the way back down again. Okay, hopefully you've had a go of that now. I'm going to play it and you can play along with me. I'll do it nice and slowly so you can see if what you're playing sounds the same as what I'm playing. So I'll count in 4. I'm going to play one note of each, but we'll go nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. And going back down again. There you go, there's your C blues scale, and you've also learned how to read tab. Well done.